Hey YouTube, this is Jaden Stern coaching Team Shadowstrike, and this is going to be, I guess, an updated deck profile on a deck that I haven't talked about or done a deck profile on in a long time, and that is Chaos Breaker Dragon. This is the completed deck after I got all the stuff I needed out of Set 5 Moonlit of Dragonfang. Some of you were requesting this, some of you were asking if I was going to be doing this deck profile, and if you were, shame on you. Chaos Breaker Dragon is probably, outside of any Dragonic Overlord deck, he is probably my favorite deck that I've ever played, because it screams control, it screams about everything that I love doing. So it's a I have playtested this deck, and it is a lot of fun. I thoroughly enjoy it. It is a lot of fun to play, and also it's known as the deck that that can pretty much stun Ripple, even though Ripples are pretty much not as good now because Odysseus is it too. But this deck has so much advantage over a lot of decks because it doesn't need Stride or Legion to get going. So it is a very competitive deck. It's probably one of the top decks. I take that back. It is one of the top decks in the meta right now just because of its way to gain advantage like crazy. So anyway, guys, let's just jump straight into this deck profile. So for the starting Vanguard, we are playing Involution Starvader Carbon. This card is, this new starter for Chaos Breaker is really amazing, because basically what he is Colony Maker as a starter. Basically, whenever this, he has the Forerunner skill, his ability is, if your opponent has a locked unit, you may place this in your unit in your soul and call a grade 1 or less from your deck. So, pretty good. So you can use this to fetch a grade 1, which our grade 1s in this deck are really essential to the success of the deck. So you can fetch whatever you need. For the triggers, we're playing 4 copies of Starvader Paradigm Shift Dragon. This is the crit trigger for Starvaders from set 5 that is really broke. His ability is an act skill. If you have a Vanguard with Starvader in its card name, and if your opponent has a locked card, choose one of your opponent's rear guards, lock it, and shuffle your deck. So he pretty much lock something back to the deck. So it's, pretty dumb. He is a trigger that, in my opinion, the deck kind of needed. It needed another way to lock. So, as much as that might offend, not make players happy who do not like Link Joker, but this is something the deck did need. And I'm glad it has it. Next, we play 4 copies of Starvader Spark Doll. And we play 4 copies of Starvader Apollonal Dragon. So we are playing a grand total of 12 critical triggers. The reason we don't play draw triggers in this deck is Chaos Breaker gives us plenty of draw power, so we really don't need more, and it's just only going to thin the deck faster. So playing 12 crit is the best way to go. And then we play 4 copies of Recollection Starvader Delirium. So 4 heal triggers. I really, really like this heal trigger. So 12 crit, 4 heal. Next, for grade 1s, we play 4 copies of Barrier Starvader Prometheum. This is the original Link Joker Perfect Guard, and some people might be asking, well, why aren't you using the new one that unflips? The reason for that is for Chaos Breaker's skill, you must Soul Blast Starvaders. So if I ride this, I can still Soul Blast it out to pay for the cost for Chaos Breaker's effect. If this is Flower in the Vacuum Cosmo Wreath, I can't do that. So, in all honesty, we have ways of unflipping damage in this deck anyway, so we're fine by playing these. And also, this is just a better option in my opinion. Now, if you want to play the unflipping Perfect Guard, I'm not saying it's a bad choice. I just I don't like since this is a deck that relies on, having Starvaders in the soul, I want to have as many Starvaders as I have. And I only play 2 cards in this deck that isn't a Starvader. So, next we play 3 copies of Turmoil Starvader Zinc. This unit is something that Chaos Breaker also really needed. Her ability is if you have a Vanguard with Chaos in its card name and your opponent has a locked card, you may put this unit into your soul, and then you may countercharge 2 and soul charge 2. So in a way, you're soul charging 3 and unflipping 2 damage. So really, really good card. This is something that Chaos Breaker really needed, in my opinion. Again, to the chagrin of people who don't like Link Joker, I'm sorry. And next we play 3 copies of Starvader Voltline. This guy is a really good pressure card. His ability is, when an attack hits a Vanguard during a battle that this unit boosted, choose one of your opponent's locked cards, and that card cannot be unlocked during his or her next end phase. Now, I want to point out again, a card has to be locked first before you Omega Lock it. There are some people who believe who used to believe when this card first came out, if he boosts an attack and he hits, that they would select one of their opponent's rear guards, it would lock and then become Omega Locked. That's not how it works. It has to be already locked. So keep that in mind. So just a friendly reminder. Next, we play 2 copies of Eclipse Starvader Charcoal. This is our Link Joker Limit Break Enabler, and the reason we only play 2 is because our starter can search this guy out along with any other grade 1 or 0 unit that we may want. That we have this so we can start using Chaos Breaker's skill immediately. And then for the last grade 2 is I play 2 copies of Destiny Dealer. These are the cards in the deck that aren't Starvaders. And they're in here just to give me more stride targets. So, and his other skill, to search out, since I don't play Alter Ego Messiah in this deck, his other skill is pointless, but when he is discarded from the hand to pay cost for stride, he gets +2 to the grade. So, that's why he's here. So, grade 2s. We play 3 copies of Companion Starvader Photon. And, of course, we play the gorgeous Legion Rares. So his ability is whenever this unit is placed on the rear guard, if you have a Starvader Vanguard and your opponent has a locked unit, lock 1 unit. So really, really easy. Basically just another lock. Next, we play 3 copies of Starvader Colony Maker. Colony Maker is basically another form of our starter, only she does cost us 1 counterblast. Whenever this unit is placed on the rear guard, if your opponent has a locked card, you may counterblast 1 and superior call a grade 1 or less from your deck, and then shuffle your deck, and it doesn't have to go right behind her. So, kind of like a Sword Me for Starvaders, really. Next, we play 3 copies of Disorder Starvader Iron. This is the Chaos Breaker, another Chaos Breaker support card from set 5. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, if you have a Vanguard with Chaos in its card name, this unit gets plus 2,000 power until the end of that turn, until the end of that battle, so he can attack for 11 by himself. And then his other skill is when this unit is placed on the rear guard, if you have a Vanguard with Chaos in its card name and your opponent has a locked card, you may counterblast 1. If you do, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and lock it. So he is basically just another way to lock more cards. And then for the last grade 2, and this will give away part of the grade 3 lineup, is 2 copies of Starvader Sword Viper. Basically, whenever this unit, his ability is on the rear guard, when this unit's attack hits a Vanguard, if you have a Vanguard that is in Legion, your opponent has a locked card, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and lock it. So, pretty good effect. So, anyway, I will get more onto that in a second. For grade 3s, obviously for the start, we are playing 4 copies of Starvader Chaos Breaker Dragon. So Chaos Breaker Dragon is, if you were playing in the old Set 13 Limit Break format, you have heard of this guy, and if you do not play him, then you probably hate him. So Chaosbreaker Dragon, his ability is Limit Break. During your opponent's end phase, when your opponent's locked card is unlocked, you may Soul Blast 1. If you do, retire that unit and draw a card. One thing I want to point out is if a card is Omega locked, you cannot use Starvader's skill to pop that unit. This only activates when the unit is unlocking. Some people do tend to forget that, so make sure you know that. His other skill is choose one. You may counterblast 1 and discard 1 Starvader from your hand, and then you may select one of your opponent's rear guards and lock it. So that kind of can give you can start some of your locking abilities, because generally this is the grade 3 that you. Well, actually, this is always the grade 3 that you want to ride first. For the rest of our grade 3s, we play 2 copies of Starvader Chaos Bringer. This is a new card from set 5. This kind of works like the card that Metalborg's got that can tutor into Sinbuster for him. Really, really good card. His ability is Limit Break. At the beginning of your opponent's main phase, if your opponent has 2 or more locked cards, you may counterblast 1. If you do, search your deck for up to 1 card named Starvader Chaosbreaker Dragon from your deck, write it as a standing Vanguard, and then shuffle your deck. So it gives you a way to jump into Chaosbreaker. So just make sure that you have 2 units locked. And his skill can help you with that. His other skill is, when this unit is placed on your Vanguard circle, you may E-Special Counterblast 1 card with Starvader in its card name, and if you do, select one of your opponent's rear guards in the back row and lock it. So that is there. So you'll just need his skill, and then you'll need one of your Photons, one of your Irons, or one of your critical triggers. So. And then for the last grade 3 is I play 2 copies of Starvader Venom Dancer. Now, I will admit, guys, most people thought, since you're playing Photon, you might play 2 copies of Garnet Star, which was just the trial deck Legion for Link Joker. Basically, Garnet Star, whenever he Legions, you basically get the old Break Right effect where you lock a front and a back row. And I did playtest that at first, but it just really wasn't doing much. And I just didn't like it as much. Venom Dancer, I have playtested and I absolutely love. So Venom Dancer's effect is he Legions with Sword Viper, and so Legion obviously. So, and then he has 2 abilities, and his first one is at the end of the battle that this unit attacked a Vanguard. If this unit is in Legion, you may counterblast 1. If you do, for each of your opponent's locked cards, choose one of your rear guards and stand it. I really like that because your opponent's hand is going to be depleted from having to deal with Chaosbreaker and all your strides. So if you find your deck starting to get thin and you go into this, you can possibly get 3 to 5 attacks at your opponent, and that can really be hard for them to deal with. And then his other skill is E-Special Counterblast 1 card with Starvader in its card name. If you have another card in your middle column that has Starvader in its card name, choose one of your opponent's rear guards in the back row and lock it. So he can also help give you another stand with his effect. So, but that's why he Legions with Sword Viper. And in playtesting, guys, Venom Dancer worked out very, very well, so I really like it. So, the other one is I was going to try Imaginary Plane, but Imaginary Plane costs 2 counterblast, and this guy only costs 1. So that is the main deck. Then for our Stride deck, we play 4 copies of the new Stride, Death Starvader Chaos Universe. So this is the new card for Chaosbreaker, the Stride for him. Really, really good card. His ability is, if you have a Heart card with Chaos in its card name, you may Counterblast 1 and G-Persona Blast. If you do, choose up to one of your opponent's rear guard circles. Your opponent chooses a card from his or her hand and puts it on that rear guard face down as a locked card. Then, if your G-Zone has 2 or more face-up cards, choose up to one of your opponent's rear guards, and lock it. So that is there. This is here to pretty much get your combos going and get locked units to destroy them and draw a shit ton of cards with Chaos Breaker. So really good. I mean, generally, you actually, if your opponent, he's generally, honestly, the first card you're going to stride into, just because you are going to lock something with his first effect, and then you have other cards that lock more cards, so you really don't need that second skill. I mean, so you can go into him first and be fine. So, really, really, really good card. Really, really good card. Next, we play 2 copies of Nebula Dragon Big Crunch Dragon. So, this guy's effect is Counterblast 1 and choose a face-down card called Nebula Dragon Big Crunch Dragon from your G-Zone and turn it face up. If you do, and the number of cards in your G-Zone is 2 or more, choose one of your opponent's rear guards, lock all of your opponent's rear guards in the same column as that unit, and those units cannot be unlocked during your opponent's next end phase. So it basically Omega locks 1 column. You can use this to just stall out even more. And then for the last G unit, we play 2 copies of Genesis Dragon Amnesty Messiah. And the reason you want to play this in Chaos Breaker is if you run into the mirror match, you have this. And also, this guy can set up for Amnesty Messiah. So you can use this guy to Omega Lock 2 cards, and then on your next turn, lock 1 more, and then go into Amnesty if you're looking for a finisher. So, Amnesty's effect, I'm pretty sure everyone knows what he does, but just in case, when this unit attacks a Vanguard, you may counterblast 1. If you do, choose any number of locked cards, unlock them, and this unit gets plus 3,000 power for each unlocked unit until the end of that battle. If the number of units unlocked is 3 or more, this unit gains plus 1 critical until the end of battle. So he can be a really good finisher. I will warn you, though, if you are looking to trade for these, he is valued by... He cannot be bought online right now. The cheapest I've seen him go is 85, and I've seen him go as high as 108. So this, and that's why I picked up as many of these as I could, because I knew eventually one day he would go way up, and I actually own 7 of these. But he is actually so good. And also, for the record, I will be bringing you an updated Messiah deck profile. I'm just missing a couple of the double rares left. I actually have 2 copies of Exlix Messiah now. But as soon as I get the last few double rares that I need, I will be bringing you an updated deck profile on Messiah. So, that is my Chaos Breaker deck. A lot of fun to play, very consistent, always maintains a hand because of Chaos Breaker's effect. So much fun to play. I am so glad that this is a deck again, because I will be honest, I did miss Chaos Breaker Dragon a lot. These sleeves that are actually on this deck are the same sleeves that were on the deck for my first team league, and pretty much all I did with this deck was I updated it. That's it. So much fun to have and play. You know, if you're not a fan of Link Joker, then you probably absolutely despise this deck. But it is very, very fun to play for me, and very consistent and so powerful, especially against anything that needs formations. So Aqua Force, Neo Nectar, Nova Grapplers, those decks, you know, are Paladins. They despise this card. But anyway, it's a lot of fun to play, guys, and it's one of my favorite decks, and I'm really glad that I finally have it finished. So anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. So in the comment section below, make sure you leave your thoughts on the deck, and you know, good, bad, indifferent, as long as it's tasteful, please. So anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. Make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe, thumbs up this video for me, and I will see you guys next time.